Friends, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here, and this is the second video for the day. And today I have more information on sickle cell disease therapy pricing thanks to a draft report from the Institute for Clinical and Economic Review, ICER. I have summarized the findings in a bunch of bullet points in order to provide a crisp and brief reading. I will also add a link to the draft report in the description so that you can read it for yourself at your own leisure. The report talks about a whole lot of aspects of sickle cell disease, but my focus here in this video is on the pricing. Friends, I'm trying to ramp up the content production of this channel as well as the types of content. So the way you can let me know if I'm on the right track is please press the like button if you think I'm on the right track. Also, feel free to use the Super Thanks feature if you want to support the channel. YouTube allows you to use Super Thanks to fund the channel. That said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Here are key points from the ICER draft report. Gene therapies approved by the FDA have been priced at around $2 million or more due to significant savings that can result from their effectiveness and durability. That has been the main criteria. Two incoming gene therapies for sickle cell disease, Vertex Pharmaceuticals and CRISPR Therapeutics Exa-cel and Bluebird Bio's Lovo-cel could be cost effective at a price point of around $2 million per potential shot, according to the research from ICER. ICER noted that both therapies have a success rate of about 97% based on data from the Lovo-cel pivotal trial, where 30 out of 31 patients had no further VOCs. VOC stands for vaso-occlusive crisis. This is the kind of crisis that a sickle cell disease patient goes through, and it's very excruciating for them. So 30 out of 31 patients had no further VOCs. So that's a very good result. ICR's draft cost effectiveness findings were based on the lifetime opportunity to improve health and reduce costs associated with VOCs and other sickle cell disease related costs, as well as improving productivity and reducing caregiver costs from a societal perspective. So let's take a moment there and let me explain this in a more easy to understand manner. So if you take a particular disease, for example, if it's left untreated, if there is no treatment for it, what are the expenses the person might have to go through? So whatever therapy is available which is ineffective at this point of time, the patient will spend for that. And then the symptoms of the disease is going to require treatments. So the cost of that and caregiver that is needed to take care of the patient, that will also be a cost that has to be included. And then there is the opportunity cost of them not being able to work or do something productive in society. So when you put all of them together, you get the actual opportunity cost of having a treatment that can remove all these issues and unleash the full potential of the individual. So that's a broad perspective. But in a very narrow sense, you can just do a comparison that if a person is suffering from a particular disease, what is it that they are spending right now to stay alive for a year? And that can be a benchmark for what should be the cost of a therapy, which is going to give them a relief. So that's how it needs to be looked at. And then I personally would further grade it into how good the therapy is. Is it going to be a one-shot therapy that you give the therapy once and they're cured for a lifetime? If that is the case, the price is going to be really high because the opportunity cost is several years of spending saved. However, if it's going to be something that has to be done every 2 years, the price will be relatively lesser because the cost of medicines that they would have saved over a lifetime is now going to be distributed over multiple doses of the therapy. So that's how I look at opportunity cost. And I think ICR is also looking at it the same way. The number of people most likely to be eligible for treatment with Lovo-cel, according to ICER, either with Lovo-cel or Exa-cel in the US, is estimated to be between 20,000 and 25,000. And the total US health system economic burden of sickle cell disease is about $3 billion annually. So $3 billion is the opportunity cost for the US government. Or US economy. I wouldn't say government, I think I should say US economy. So the economy will be able to sustain spending $3 billion or slightly less than that in order to get a treatment that can replace the current treatments that are available for sickle cell disease. ICER's report showed that at a placeholder price of $2 million per treatment course, 15.4% of the people, that is 385 people per year, could be treated over 5 years without exceeding the ICER budget impact threshold of $777 million per year. Almost 34% of people could be treated over the same period of time if the price of the therapies were somewhere around $900,000. So you can treat more people at lesser price. So that's the dynamic that has been presented in this report. Vertex and CRISPR submitted Exa-cel to the FDA earlier this month. They completed their rolling BLA submission, while Bluebird recently missed its deadline to file its BLA for Lovo-cel, but soon expects to do so. As you guys know, Bluebird share price plummeted at that news. And finally, let's come back to our original concept again. I keep on getting digressed. Finally, the report provides only an aspirational view of what the pricing should be, and we will find out by the end of this year what it will actually be as these therapies get approved. Also remember that sickle cell disease impacts a large number of people in low-income African countries. How will the world leaders handle the moral imperative of providing life-saving therapy when one is available, and balance it with the rule of capitalism? Because if the government decided that this has to be provided to everybody, then the investors are not going to invest in these kind of fields, because they would say that there is no return, we don't get our return on our investment. So they will go for some other avenues. So the government has to weigh everything carefully. So we'll see what the outcome is going to be as time goes ahead. And I think that's how I would bring this video to an end. So $2 million per patient is what seems to be the target price. And with increasing volumes, the price can improve. Also, I see a role for foundations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they might probably subsidize for Africa, because sickle cell disease is predominantly found in Africans, and it's got a heavy occurrence out there. So the African countries will definitely need a lot of these medicines so that they can improve a lot of the people out there. And depriving them of this is going to look really bad, and it's not the right thing to do. But at the same time, there would be various different types of price models that will come into play. And apart from the charitable foundations like Bill and Melinda Gates or philanthropic foundations, we can also have WHO subsidizing these kind of therapies. And also there could be a way in which the government might come around with the ability to give the formulation to other companies to manufacture it and pay royalty to the people who actually found the therapy, who put in investment into research of the therapy, and they could probably keep that date like more or less like a generic happening a little bit earlier than otherwise. But whatever they do, it's going to give a signal to the capital markets on the viability of investing in these kind of therapies. Right now, it's difficult for governments to shoulder the entire expenditure for doing research on really difficult to treat diseases like sickle cell disease, HIV, and DMD, and all these things. Therefore, capital investment from the private sector is needed, and the private sector is investing, and they take a lot of risks because any of these therapies can fail and they lose money. And guys, you and I, we are all genomic investors. Our portfolios are in the red. They can come into the green when any of the therapies get approved. So it's not like private investors are villains in this piece. They also need to get some returns. Otherwise, they are not going to invest in it. So in a capitalistic society, capital has to be respected. At the same time, humanity and moral aspects have to be balanced accordingly. And all these therapies have to be dispensed with. So I'm being a Trekkie. I always come back to this concept that as the apex life form on this planet, it's our responsibility to take care of everything on this planet, whether it's plant or vegetation or our fellow human beings. We should be aspiring to a world where there are no borders, where there is no cost for anything, and everybody gets food, medicine, a house, and everything. And people work because they want to, and people work in the area of their passion. This is what Star Trek epitomized, and that's why you had really dedicated people, and the replicator was providing abundant food. Nobody had to go to the farm and do any kind of farming. Everything was available in abundance, and people indulged in their passion. So we as a species have got to evolve out of the petty selfishness and greed and other things and those kind of emotions, and go to a higher level. And hopefully, as gene technology and artificial intelligence and all these technologies enable a era of plenty, we are going to have capitalists also who are more giving than hoarding. And we as a civilization get much more mature and intelligent. And that will ensure that we become an interplanetary species, and we survive and thrive. Otherwise, we are just going to cannibalize what we got, and we are going to become smaller and smaller, and the world is not going to be a good place to live in. So I'm hoping that the better angels prevail, and we find an amicable solution to the pricing problem for all these difficult to treat diseases, and good times come ahead for us. So with that hopeful thought, I would like to end this video. Guys, please let me know what you think about this video. Please press a like there if you liked it, and if you feel like it, you can subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye for now.